Alright, Victorum Gaming fans, we're back with another video for SPQR covering the talent trees for the heroes. And today we're going to take a look at Sword of Vengeance, which is really the single biggest tech tree and honestly one of the best, if not the best overall, just because it's one that will very simply and very definitely increase your hero's ability to put kills in or get kills. So specifically with swords, obviously. So Sword of Vengeance. In a world where the sword is the mark of a hero, this hero reigns supreme. Few can best him in single combat, and when in battle he becomes a fiend, a killing machine dedicated to just one single aim, the destruction of his enemies. So these talents may only be used in conjunction with a sword, and it's a massive tech tree compared to some of the others. You have one base requirement, which is Wall of Iron, very good ability, and then you have 3 branches, and then those each have a second ability in that branch too. So several different ways you can go with this, and we'll see if it's actually worth maxing out the entire tree, or if we just need to go to certain areas. So Wall of Iron is passive. It does require melee +1, which I cannot think of a hero that doesn't already have melee +1. So there are a few chinks in the hero's defenses, and he is adept at knocking aside the blows of his enemies. This hero gains an extra parry with his sword. 100% recommend the ability. So if you're going in this tech tree, you got a sword, having a 3rd parry with that is just absolutely fantastic. And if you couple it with the other ability in another video that we looked at where you get an extra parry with your shield, that can actually potentially give you 6 parries with your or sorry, not 6. The sword gives you 1, so 2, so 5 parries, but still nonetheless a whole lot of parrying. So super easy ability, and with it being obviously the base requirement for the rest of it, you're going to want to get this anyway. So so if you're using a sword, definitely worth getting. All right, and we're going to go with Now You See Me branch. So that's a move action. The hero's skill at making a feint and then using the enemy's confusion to escape. When using this talent, the hero makes an opposed agility check with the enemy unit he's fighting. If he succeeds, he may flee from close combat without the enemy getting a chance to attack him. If he fails, he uses the rules for fleeing from combat as usual. So kind of neat ability, lets you get out of a tight spot potentially. Probably going to be wanting doing that as like your first action, just so you can maybe use your second one to get even further away. Or maybe just using that second one to then get a charge off again. There's all kinds of applications for it, but not one that's necessarily going to make you more lethal, but a little bit of a neat trick that you can pull there. Then we get to Web of Death, which, let's see, where do they put that? All the way at the bottom here. As a melee action, taking a step back from his enemy, the hero displays moves of superior swordsmanship, creating a web of death in front of him that's lethal to cross. The hero makes no attacks, but any enemy wishing to perform a melee action against the hero in the next phase must first succeed in an opposed bravery check with the hero. This talent will not work if the hero is leading a unit, as there's not enough space to perform that except in a challenge. So this is more for ideally like solo heroes and stuff like that, but you can basically give up your attacks to basically force the enemy to have an extra step to even try and hit you. So it can be cool to kind of stall an enemy with that and then wait for like help to rhyme and stuff like that. There's a couple different applications for it. So so this part of the tree is a little bit more on sort of sneaky abilities, not necessarily geared towards necessarily making you more lethal. So so a little bit more thought has to go into selecting those. The middle tree though is really honestly the single best route, really. If you just want to worry about making your hero pretty dangerous to go up against and getting kills, this is the one to go with. So we go from Lethal Blade and then to Blade Master. Lethal Blade is super cool, passive ability, no requirements, which is always awesome. So either through superior accuracy or sheer brute strength, the hero's sword is a punishing weapon in his hands, capable of striking a man down with a single blow. The hero's sword gains lethal too. So -2 to their armor, potential to cause multiple wounds there with a single swing if it's against minions and stuff like that. It's just super cool. And then Blade Master does have a requirement. It's also passive. It's basically the upgraded version of this. Does it require melee +4, so you definitely have to invest a little bit to get your stat up there. But basically the hero, the sword goes up to lethal 3 and gains Smasher, so they can't parry it, which again, you're putting damage through. It's going straight to the armor save. And -3 to armor is no joke. So a lot of times that will just result in straight up damage, or they're going to be having very bad armor saves. So, so really, if you want a badass swordsman, this is the easiest and quickest way to get there. You also have the last ability here, or the last tree or branch in this tree here. Darting Blade is a good one to pick up too, potentially. So in battle, it's passive. In battle, the hero moves with almost supernatural speed, his sword seeming to flint in and out of the bodies of his enemies as he carves his way across the battlefield. If the hero kills an enemy in close combat, he may immediately perform a free melee action. This talent may only be used once per turn. Sure, but if you've already got like Blade Master and stuff going, the odds of you not killing someone are going to, drastically decline. So being able to, at least once per turn, get another melee action going, and depending on how many swings you're getting, right, that's just that many more casualties. So super useful ability there too. And then the last one is called Numbers Count for Nothing. Now, this one does have another hefty requirement of melee +4. It's a melee action. The hero has fought hordes before him, and being outnumbered holds little fear for him. Enemy units in close combat with this hero or unit he is leading gain no bonus to their melee checks for having 10 or more models. Now, if you've watched our series on covering the different units and factions and stuff like that, there's several of the armies that are geared more towards horde lists, like the Gauls, the Germans, Brits, and stuff like that have an ability, and a lot of their units where your size does matter for the unit, where basically you'll buff up some of your stats and like bravery and stuff like that with the unit size. But there's also the ability, the generic ability in the game, where if you have more than 10, your melee checks will buff up a little bit too. So this basically just is designed to counter that. So that can be really great if, again, you're dealing with large horde type armies. So, but overall, like I said, this is probably the single best tech tree, just again, sheer quantity of abilities, but also just what all these can do for your heroes. So there's really nothing bad in this tree. I would say that the Now You See Me and Web of Death are probably the least useful out of the bunch, just because they're a little more situational, but still worth considering. But certainly Lethal Blade and Blade Master is almost like a mandatory path to upgrading your hero. And then Darting Blade is pretty good still, and Numbers Count for Nothing you could certainly make an argument for wanting to get that too. But certainly Wall of Iron, Lethal Blade, and Blade Master, and you've already got yourself a pretty badass hero. So for just about any hero that's going with a sword at all, you're definitely going to be wanting to spend some of your upgrade points in here to increase your lethality. So, and again, Wall of Iron giving you that extra parry as the start off ability is really good too. So, so Sword of Vengeance, definitely worth checking out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit us with a like if you could, and subscribe if you haven't already, and then stay tuned for more SPQR content.